Welcome to another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. All right, we have a great topic in store today. The 4 reasons that you're not taking massive action. The 4 reasons you're not taking massive action. So if you're a mortgage loan officer, you know I'm talking directly to you. If you are an entrepreneur, you're a real estate, and you're any business or in life in general, this is a topic you can take with you and uncover why you're not taking massive, decisive action. And what I can tell you is that people that take massive, decisive action is the ones that win. It's all about the massive, decisive action. We can read all the books. You can listen to this. Now, there's one of 2 types of people that listen to my podcast. Which one are you? Are you the one that listens? It's nice. You just like to listen to it. Like to listen to my awesome voice. Just joking. I'm not too egotistical with that. I don't know. I probably sound horrible, but you're still listening. But you're listening. You're listening every time. You're taking the content in, and you're doing nothing. You're not really taking action. And there's other portion of you that take this and just go ahead and implement. You don't wait for all the steps, kind of like Martin Luther King Jr. said, the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, you just have to see the first step. Now, what are you going to do to take the first step in massive, decisive action? So take these and run with them. Massive action. You can read. There's a tons of readers out there that ain't making jack. They're not doing anything in their life. They're just reading. And then you have some segment that thinks the people that don't read as much, they're not as educated and they're not as good. And they're over here just taking all this wealth of information while the other one's taking massive, decisive action and absolutely crushing their goals and crushing you in business and life because they're taking massive, decisive action. And so, somewhere along the line in society, we keep saying, oh my gosh, if you don't take all these years of schooling and everything else, you're not as smart, you're not as good, which is just not true. The ones that take massive, decisive actions are the ones that's winning. And, it's on-the-job training, right? Like on-the-job training, I don't care how much you try to get away from that, is absolutely the number one way in any industry in life to win big. Now, you could take this information in. I definitely read all the time. What I do say is a big mistake, by the way, out there is people that just read and don't study and then implement the material. You have to study the material and implement it. So I would encourage you to read less books this year, the end of the year. Go back and say, hey, what's the 10 books that are the most impactful? What's the 5 books that's most impactful? Now I'm going to reread those. And I'm going to reread them again. I'm going to reread them again. And I'm going to take massive action around them. And I want you to take this podcast and take massive, decisive action. And we're going to talk about why you don't take massive, decisive action here in a little bit. And that's what my coaching is about. It's not about just tactics. When I coach somebody, it's not about just tactics. Hey, here you go. Call this many people. Do this, do this, do this, do this. No. People, I could tell you to do it, but then you're not going to do it, and there's a reason why you're not doing it. And we need to talk about that, and we need to approach that, because when we don't approach it like that, we don't understand why we're not doing things. We just gloss over it. That's what coaches do. They go in there and say, you're not doing this, and then let's talk about why you're not doing it. What's going on? And so there's always, I talk about it, 1 or 2 layers below the surface that's not allowing you to take massive, decisive action. Something going on that you're not doing it. So before I go on hirescoaching.com, download your free 12-week business transformation playbook. This is designed for mortgage loan officers. So go out there, take this, and go in hard, deep, everything else you want to do, and go ahead and take massive, decisive action to run your business and crush your dreams. I don't know. I'm not sure if I said that right. I don't know. You're going to crush other people's dreams, right? Because you're going to be taking all their deals. So go out and download this free transformation playbook, and you're going to be able to transform your business, your life, your income, etc. All right, so there's 4 reasons why you are not taking massive, decisive action. Number one, you don't truly know your why. You don't truly know your why. I know we've talked about this before, but you do not truly know your why. You go, okay, well, why you want to make good income? Well, I mean, I like to make good income. I just want to have nice things. Why? You have to ask yourself why about 3 or 4 times. That's actually in this playbook. Why? Ask yourself the why. Get yourself to the deep rooted reason why you want to be successful, why you want to go from 5 loans to 10 loans to 20 loans. Why is that real reason why you want to do that? So you have to get very clear and decisive of why, because your why will push you through to the other side when you don't want to do something, when the chips are down. Like Michael Jordan, right? He kept busting his butt even when he was doing really good. One of the guys I like to really, I follow a lot, have his stuff is The Rock, right? The guy, if he didn't have a really deep rooted why and love what he does, then, after he made all these millions of dollars, he went from $7 in his pocket, he talks about, to, just huge mogul making tons of money. And if he didn't have his true deep rooted why, he would not continue that. And so there's a really good book, Atomic Habits. That's one book I'll just keep going back to. And there's identity-based habits. And so when you're identifying and with that embodiment of who you are, the why behind it, then you will, when things are tough, when you don't want to make the next call, you make the next call. But if you don't have that deep-rooted why, when things are tough, you're not going to necessarily do it. So the first thing is you need to ask yourself why you want to be successful, why you want to go from 5 loans to 10 loans or 20 loans, whatever you're trying to do, go from $100,000 a year to $200,000 a year, et cetera. What's a real reason why? And that's not just, hey, I'm making more money and I'm going to get a new car. There's probably more reasons, right, than that. And so that is a huge reason to go ahead and identify to where you can, just leverage your business, leverage your life. And the next thing is vision. You have the why, but you don't have a vision. So, oftentimes in life, we end up going, okay, we're going to do this massive thing. We're going to go from 5 loans to 20 loans, but we don't have any real vision behind that. We don't just allow ourselves to envision how that's going to look. So I know for me, I will go outside. I will have those quiet times, smoke a cigar, and just, man, what's the vision? Is this still my vision? And the vision can change, and it's always changing. That's the beautiful thing. Man, that's a beautiful thing, to where you just go, okay, and your why, the why can change some. Like, this is a very movable thing throughout your life. Your why, when when I was powerlifting, my why was, and what I wanted to do, and my identity-based habits were everything around powerlifting, getting stronger. Well, it's no longer the case. That's not who I really identify with, which is really weird when I think about back years ago. I'm thinking, man, was that even me? Like, it's like a different person. It's literally an out of body experience at this point when I think about that, because it's just not even who I am. It's almost like literally like I am a new person altogether, because I don't have those same kind of habits or that same thought process, that same why, that same vision. And so this can be movable through time. So you're not stuck into one thing. Again, see the first staircase, you start stepping, all of a sudden, whoa, the vision gets bigger, better, more clear, and then you go, okay. And then sometimes you go back to the why. Oh my gosh, like, this is the real reason why I want to do this. And so the vision has to be big. It has to be impactful. It has to light your hair on fire. A lot of people talk about motivation and all that. Like, the vision is where it comes from. You're envisioning what you want to become, who you want to become. And really, it's an embodiment of who you are. Identity-based habits of doing things every day to live out that vision, right? So right now, are you living out the vision that you created? Do you even have a vision? You're just like, well, I'm just going to go through. And what I can tell you is that most your highly successful people have a why. They have a vision. They absolutely have a vision. And the ones that are not being as successful definitely do not have those two in place. You ask them what their vision is. It's like, well, I mean, I just want to do more loans. Okay, what does that look like? I don't know, right? Well, it's okay. I just do me, and I go about my day, and it's like, that's BS. That's BS. You're copping out. You're not doing everything you can do to become the greatest version of yourself, because you just can't go happen. This isn't happenstance. And so I was watching Cobra Kai. I love Cobra Kai. And in one scene in that show, he says, talking about the trees, can't even remember that tree's name at this point. You Cobra Kai people are going to kill me. Like, you don't remember Karate Kid, baby. But he's clipping this little tree, and he said, hey, you just need to envision what it's going to look like when your life, and then go out there and do everything to meet that, right? And so and I'm hacking some of those words, but that was what he was talking about. Just you're creating a vision, and then you're going about your everyday life of who you are and your habits behind who how that vision is going to play out. And so, but the third thing is, so loan officers get stuck all the time. And I just, one good thing to do right now is go ahead and think about how many hours a day, just log yourself 1 or 2 days, maybe the whole week, and go, how many times did I sit behind a computer and get stuck and not do anything and not make the next call? I didn't do the next activity. I just got stuck. And so you think, and a lot of people point to, well, I'm just lacking motivation. I'm lacking motivation. I just have a lack of motivation, or they have a lack of motivation. And when you're coaching people, like I'm coaching people, and when I talk to clients all the time, and so I'm talking to one of my clients, and he's doing 5 loans a month, and he wants to get to 10 loans a month, and we're having a conversation, and he's struggling a little bit, and really what it amounts to. And when I had this conversation with him, he's like, I've done this, I've done that. And, I've never really been successful. I've been able to push my loans past a certain point. And really what it amounted to was not having clear direction. And so when we don't have clear direction, and so I have struggled with this at certain points in my coaching, is not having clear direction, right? So when I got in a mortgage game, kind of like stuff happenstance a little bit, just going out there and, trying to crush deals. And then, as I evolved in my process of what I do, and I align those visions and the vision with my why, is then, now I had to have a real direction. And so the direction of what I'm doing each and every single day to get to that point. And then when I got into the coaching world, again, start doing well, and I know how to coach, and all this stuff, studying all this to bring out the best in my clients. But some of the direction gets lost because, I got this going on. I got this shiny object going here. I got all these mortgages coming in, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get down to it, you get stuck. I got stuck in certain times. And still, listen, this is an ever evolving process. Don't think that I don't get stuck now sometimes. These are things, when I talk about these subjects, it's things that I've struggled with, do struggle with from time to time, and it's an ever-evolving process. It's never like you have all these things down at all points, and then you get it done. It's like, boom, I'm done, I'm good. My why is always going to be awesome, my vision is always going to be good, and my direction is going to be every single day just pinpoint, because sometimes you struggle with that. And that's why I made a planner for mortgage loan officers, right? To have a clear direction of what you're doing that day, what actionable steps you are taking. But you are getting stuck. If you're getting stuck right now, look at your direction. Do you have clear-cut direction of what you're doing? I talked about the time suck. You think about, you have all this stuff going in. What's a potential time suck? And how will my best self handle it? Right? We don't have clear direction of how we're going to perform throughout the day, what we're going to do, what's it going to feel like. Clear direction. So if you're not making your calls, do you have a clear direction of how many calls you're going to make that day? Do you have a clear direction how many DMs you're going to do that day? You have a clear direction how that's all going to look, how you're going to set up your day. Do you have clear direction? And that's where, of course, a coach comes in and gives you clear direction and clears it up, because we all just get murky, right? Like some murky waters. You go and, it looks like back when I was in Michigan, and we had a little pond, and you go over there and you have all the just you couldn't even see through it, right? Couldn't see the bottom of it. You have all these frogs jumping around and their larvae and all this good stuff. And you can't, it's murky. You can't see the bottom of it, right? It's not very clear. And then sometimes you go to like, Destin or something and you're like, well, I can see the bottom right here. It's clear, nice waters, right? And so we get the same way in our direction in life and in our business. We just kind of get murky. We can't see the bottom of it and we don't know the next step, et cetera. So get clear direction. And the next thing is, this is a huge one. And all three of the first ones that I talk about does help the fourth one. And that's empowerment. You lack empowerment. Now, what is empowerment to its root? Self-esteem. Now, this is one of those things when I coach clients, most of the time when they're not doing what they need to do, it comes down to really some kind of self-esteem. Now, you don't want to go, hey, you got lack of self-esteem. Well, I'm confident. We all have confidence. We all lack self-esteem in some way, some facet. I don't care who you look at and think, okay, man, they got their crap together and they never have any kind of empowerment issues or any kind of self-esteem issues. That's just not true. And so we disguise it in so many ways. There's so many things that we disguise it in. In a relationship, we put up with somebody that we shouldn't put up with because we don't think we can do any better, or we don't know, man, all this, right? Steamrolls. We don't think we can make the next call because somehow like we feel bad about ourselves. We're feeling bad already internally. We had a bad conversation. And I talk about this one book, and I'm going to talk about this in another podcast as well, is the 4 Agreements. It's a really great book if you haven't read it. And one of those things in there is don't take anything personal. And why do we take things personally? Because there's some kind of self-esteem there that we're taking on what people say. So if somebody's mean to us, we take that on and let it poison us. Why is that? Well, because we somehow agree with it. So you're not making that next call. You don't want to make cold calls because somehow, some way you have a self-esteem issue there. Somebody's mean to me, or man, I can't take it. Man, I'm having this bad day and I feel bad about myself and all this stuff. So I want you to just think right now, like if you could envision yourself as having the most confident person in the world, like you're empowered, you feel good, you feel confident in every single thing you did. What would look different in your business? What actions would you take that you're not taking today? I want you to really think about that hard. Please write those down. Please write those down. Are you not making a call? Are you not doing a DM? Are you not reaching out to the top agent? Are you not doing a video? What are you not doing? Why are you allowing that to just uproot any kind of actionable step that you can take? And so when you don't take massive action, it comes back a lot to empowerment. You don't feel good enough, right? So I was talking to my coach, and it was funny because, I'm not sure if I ever shared this story in here before, but so when I was powerlifting, got to be really good, strong, got to be ranked number 1. And I'm like, and I always had somehow, some way, like, a lack of empowerment. I had some kind of self-esteem there. Like, oh man, somebody else is doing it better. So who am I? I'm nobody. Right. And I've literally heard this from clients too. I'm nobody. Who am I to make because somebody's better than me. And so I remember thinking about coaching powerlifters. And so I was like, I'm going to put it out here. And I was like scared, like, oh man, they're going to be like, who's he? There's somebody, in Russia, way better at you in this other weight class as well. Right. All those things. And so I put it out there and boom, I had clients just overnight. It was crazy. Tons of clients. But I set up in my head this and not taking action and delaying it. I delayed it probably a month at least from when I was thinking about it to when I did it and didn't take massive action because I had self-esteem issue there, empowerment issue that was creeping up. So when I went to I was like, man, I really, really want to serve people and grow their coaching business. Or it's not a coaching business or their mortgage business and business in general. And it's what my passion is real passion, my why. I'm not going to go into all my why because we ain't got time for that, but my why, my vision is lining up to that. I had some directional issues because I didn't know exactly how I'm going to, what I'm going to put out there and all this other stuff. Right. So I had two there, but I definitely lacked some direction, and I certainly 100% lacked a lot of the empowerment because it was like I was shrinking as I was going ahead and putting that out. A shrinking, like, who am I to coach people to grow their business? Oh my gosh, there's people that's been doing it a lot longer and they're better. All this stuff that comes into play, right? And so like I'm doing 20 loans a month, and here I am, I'm doing 20 loans a month and doing it like 25 hours a week with zero ad spend, and which is rare out there. There's certainly somebody doing it better. Absolutely, there's always somebody doing it more loans, better, all that stuff, right? There's always. But I allowed my empowerment to shrink, my scarcity mindset to creep up. All that comes into self-belief and self-doubt and what's that? Self-esteem. Right. And somehow I was like, I'm not, and when I talked to my coach at one point, he's like, listen, if you stood up in front of 1,000 loan officers, like how many are you going to be able to help? How many are like, well, I want to do that. I want to do that. Absolutely a ton. Right. But we sell ourselves short, and I sold myself short on the fact that like I can help people. And really at the end of the day, I can be right and good and help somebody crush their goals by what I'm coaching, by how I'm communicating, how they resonate with me. And that can happen, right? Like all the time. Like we just think, oh, if I'm not this, then I can't do that. And it's like, that's not always true, right? But why do we not just at least give and at least go out in there and do it? And what's the worst thing's going to happen, right? And so we talked about that. Worst things are going to happen. I get on a call with somebody doing 40 or 50 loans a month. And they're like, well, how are you going to help me? I'm doing all this stuff and I don't know how to, right? What's the worst case? First is really somebody doing 50 loans a month going to call me for coaching? Probably not most of the time. They're like, well, I got it, or they got some kind of high level coach already. Maybe, but the empowerment for me is even if I get on a call with somebody doing 50 loans a month, can I help them? There's absolutely things I could help them with. Maybe it's not just growing their business. It's reducing their hours. It's helping them let go. There's a lot more goes into the coaching than just how many loans you can do. There's a lot more, there's a lot more of that journey that I bring that I can help others bring out of themselves that can help them. But at least, even if you say I couldn't, why am I not going to put it out there and say, well, just because this person may not like it, right? Just because you're out there and you're like, I don't want to do a video because I'm not the best at videos, or I'm not this. It's like, if you believe in it, your vision's there, your empowerment's there, just go out there and do it. Go out there and do it, because what you're doing is you're allowing all that to play into reducing your income, increasing your hours. And you talk about empowerment, right? This happens all the time. So I was talking to a client, and, he's like, I'm doing really well. I'm doing, almost 20 loans a month, and I'm working 65, 70 hours a week. And it's like, well, do you really want to do that? And then you get into it, and it's like, well, I have to do this. And it's like, okay, because I can't reduce how many loans I do. But as we got into talking to him, it tied back into the empowerment. And so he was allowing himself to be run over by different clients and real estate agents that were increasing his hours and workload because somehow he had scarcity. He wasn't empowered. He felt somehow self-esteem would be, I can't let him go. And that's when you don't let some partnership go, or when you allow somebody to do things that they shouldn't to you, and you're just allowing it, then that comes into self-esteem. That comes into the lack of empowerment. So I want you to think about those 4 areas that really come into play today. Write them down. Say, how can I attack them today? How can I get, just, you're never going to get rid of them, right? You're always going to have, these are evolving. But how can I keep continuing to work on these things? Because this is going to elevate my game. I can tell you, if you have all 4 of these, that you're going to act differently. You're going to operate at a different tempo, and you're going to stop getting stuck behind a computer, just going, oh my gosh, if this loan doesn't go through on time, right? That's a huge thing right now. It doesn't go on time. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to do another loan, and I'm going to, all these things that you're going to feel bad about yourself. Well, like, that's the poison that you don't need to take on, and it's eroding. And so I was having a conversation with my clients and said, he's having issues. And I remember, he was just, felt like he's getting beat down. All of a sudden, the sunken shoulders, right? His shoulders are slumped over. You're not got your head back, shoulders back, and like, listen, I'm confident. I know what I do, what I bring, what value I bring to the table, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to operate. But you start sinking your shoulders in. And what I can tell you is that happened for me. That absolutely happened for me. Because I remember, like, a few years ago, here I was, again, a power lifter, strength, you had boxed, not scared of stuff, going to, just always, run through walls. But I allowed myself at some point, right, to get sunken shoulders, feel like, oh my gosh, like, if I don't do this next deal, oh my gosh, if, they think badly of me, and, all of a sudden taking poison. And then guess what? I looked in the mirror one day and said, who the hell are you? I don't recognize you. I don't recognize you. Who are you? It was a very surreal, sobering moment for me. I was like, Adam, you got to take it back. You got to take the empowerment back. And guess what? You're not taking on any more of that poison. You know damn well that you're going to bust your ass. You're going to do what you need to. You're going to try what you can to help clients. You're going to go out there and you're going to do what you need to do. Doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes, but you're going to hold your head high and you're going to continue to win. And you're not going to be a sum of your last loan that didn't close on time. That's not you. And then you're going to take the power back. And when you take the power back, that's when you're going to grow. That's when you're going to elevate your game. That's when you're going to stop just, letting everything just affect you in a negative way. That's when you're going to take massive, decisive action now. When I coach people, it's to take action now. It's not to take action later and let's think about it. It's to take action now. And that's the only way that you're going to elevate your game in a quick, fast manner and live the life you want to live. When you take massive action, you say, no, I'm not going to take that deal because I don't want to do it. And that's empowerment. I'm going to go after that client, that real estate agent, that referral partner now, because guess what? I don't care if they have somebody else. Oh, well, who cares? I believe in myself. I believe what I can do. And so go out there and absolutely crush these 4 and just have fun doing it. Empower yourself to be the best version of yourself today. Take massive action today. Limited risks equals limited income.